Hey, this is Dan with Guardian Mold Prevent, and I wanted to take a look with you today at a basement that's located in Glendale Heights, Illinois. And as you can see, this basement is actually quite a disaster zone. There's a ton of dust and particulate floating through the air, but I want you to try to focus right through that and look at these walls and ceiling in this basement. This is a basement where the house was foreclosed on. The property was sat vacant for quite some time. Some water got into the basement, and long before anyone knew that there was water there, it had sat and mold started to develop. And you can see that the drywall, the trim, the insulation, the ceiling tile, the floor joist, and the sheathing on the underside of the first floor deck, just about every surface in this basement are affected with mold growth. And this is a type of scenario that we see quite often. We realize that your mold problem is most likely not going to be to this degree, or at least we hope not. But we show you these videos and this footage so you get an idea of what we are able to tackle so that you can comprehend that the mold problem you have is probably manageable. When we tackle a project, the first thing we do is we come in and we define materials. We look and break down what's a porous material, what's a semi-porous, what's non-porous. So for porous materials, we're looking for things like drywall, trim, insulation, fiberboard, paneling. Semi-porous would be the framing members in a basement or in a home, and non-porous are concrete, and in a basement it would be foundation, walls, or floor. Now once we've got those things classified, we then set up a scope of work to tackle the mold problem and remediate it completely. First, we set up containment to seal off the workspace, and then we put in an air scrubber or a negative air machine to run all the air through HEPA filtration while we're working so that we can remove those mold spores from the air and restore the air quality. We then remove and discard all the porous materials. So again, your drywall, trim, insulation, anything that's porous. And then we treat and coat the semi-porous and non-porous surfaces with a biocide and also a white acrylic-based mold-resistant coating. Now you can see in this basement that we've essentially gutted it down to just exterior wall framing and foundation walls. Again, we pulled out all the porous material, so the drywall, the trim, the insulation in the areas that were necessary, and then we scrubbed down all the other remaining surfaces, the non-porous and semi-porous, with the biocide, again a product that we use to kill mold, and then we scrub them down and we treat them with an acrylic-based mold-resistant coating. You'll see in the screen there for a second that we use the air scrubber or the negative air machine while we're working to run that air through HEPA filtration, and we'll take a still look at that again here in a moment at the end. But the idea of this video is to show you that even though you have a mold problem and it may be scary and you don't know what to do with it, even in the worst conditions, in the worst environment, we're able to get the basement or the area cleaned up and remediated properly. Now again, like I said, we'll take a look real fast at a HEPA filter or an air scrubber. This is the machine that would set Joe Handyman apart from Mold Remediation Company. This machine will run all the air in the workspace through a 12-inch HEPA filter, a 1.5-inch pleated filter, and then at the very tip top you can see there's a blue pre-filter. This restores all the air quality in the space so that when you go back in, you can rest assured that the air is good to breathe.